What's up guys, welcome back to another value for money tier list, and today we're going to be taking a look at the M4A4s. In total, there's 42 M4A4 skins in Counter-Strike 2 right now as of the 15th of December 2024. Now, when we did the up tier list, we did some changes. We no longer only focused on minimal wear price. We agreed to give me the flexibility to pick the condition for the skins that I thought offered the best value for money, so we can truly rank them, and we can also take souvenir into consideration if that's relevant. And these videos have a lot of prime waffle today. I'm going to try and cut that down where I can. And just to confirm, it is the same format as always. We've got S tier, A+, all the way down to F. And it'd be interesting to know if you guys can predict where some of these skins are going to land. I've gone on to the lovely nuke just because it's such a cool map to inspect the skins on. It'll give us a bit of consistency. The first one we have is the M4A4 Tornado. Now, I do believe this got better in Counter-Strike 2. However, it's almost $15 for minimal wear. If you're going for a very unique loadout with particular shades and kind of like style to it, maybe this is for you, but $15 for this is a bit hefty in my opinion. It's with that in mind, for now I'm going to put it in C tier. As we get the rest in, I might have to move it. I think it is borderline D tier, but you know, $15 isn't crazy. Cybersecurity's up next, also minimal wear, and this one's just over $25. Now, this is an M4 I don't think you see that often in game. I'm not 100% sure why. It might be because it doesn't perfectly sort of align to any color theme. I gotta say though, with the Nox gloves, it does look pretty good. I like the colors on it. I would prefer it to be sub $20, but I think overall the value for money for what you're getting here, if you use Fia's Crackle stickers, for example, it's a really unique craft that pairs so nicely with it. There's a lot of options and potential here. And being mindful of what's to come, I think this is probably like a B tier value for money. We'll see if it has a push to A later. Now, normally cheaper doesn't necessarily mean better for the value for money, but I think the Urban DD Pack might be able to change the trend here a little bit because it's minimum wear for 25 cents. I would say its only real issue is it does pick up significant wear. What you can do though, is an older skin, is you can find some older stickers for it with like crazy sticker price on them and do something unique. So I think this one is definitely worth a consideration. I think with it being 25 cents, it might have to go A tier. As I say, we'll review near the end. The Dark Blossom for me is an M4A4 skin that I would just love to have in my loadout. It's one that I would love to craft on and do something unique with, but the colors just aren't right for me. I feel like it's, when I had to change the CS2, it got improved, but it's just not quite right. I don't know what it is. I think the base color is not 100%, and I don't like that the colors themselves, those blues and greens, don't pop correctly. And it's $29 with the collection it's from, makes it a little bit tough, and you will be going factory and you to have it clean. It is pattern based though as well. I honestly, as much as I like the skin to an extent, and I would like to like it more if it had those changes, I think it's going to have to be C tier. The Daybreak is definitely an interesting one to discuss. Now, this is factory new $285, so it's the most expensive we've discussed so far. I actually quite like the silver and gold. I think it looks incredibly good. I know that the accent colors around it are kind of like defaulty blacky browns, but I think the silver and gold does look good. In comparison to the other skins that exist though, this is going to be a tough sell for value for money though, which means it is temporarily going into D tier. Now, before you get my full opinion on the converter, let me tell you about the giveaway, which is going to be, I think it's day 7 of the 12 days of Christmas. I can't remember exactly, but it is going to be an AK-47 giveaway. It's going to be the Legion of Anubis, and it's going to be in minimal wear. And if I remember correctly, this is one that I actually unboxed or traded up to in a video. So if you want to enter this, all you have to do is let me know in the comments down below which M4A4 you think is the best value for money in CS2 right now. Make sure you hit the like button and also make sure you subscribe. We'll announce the winner in a few days' time. And also, just make sure you're in the Discord, because that's where we announce the winners, so you don't want to miss out on your prize. The converter for me, minimum wear, 50 cents. And this is actually a really good comparison to the Urban DD Pack, and where I think we have to be cheap isn't always better. This, for me, it's lackluster. I wouldn't visibly see myself ever wanting to use this in a loadout. And there's other budget red M4s that we'll get to. So for me, it's cheap, it's cool. It probably has to sit ahead of the Dark Blossom and Tornado. Just visually, it's not that good, so I think it's probably C tier. Then we have the conversation for potentially the first S tier skin. Now, this is the Dragon King, and a minimum wear, it costs you about $10.25. Personally, if I was to buy one myself, I think you have to go factory new, and I think you have to go 00 float to get rid of some of the scuffs. But even still, in minimal wear, when you're using it in game like this, it looks sick. I love the colors off them. It's slightly different. I think the artwork is crazy good. Some people say it doesn't age that well, but for me, I still really like it. I think it's got amazing craft potential. So for $10 for this, I think this is a crazy good M4. So much so, oh man, I'm really torn if it's S tier. I think $10 for that, I think it has to be S tier. I think Dragon King's S tier value for money. Now, this is one that's going to join the Urban DD Pack, because the Polymag in minimal wear is only 9 cents. And what I like about this is, if you're actually going for a brown loadout, which is which is valid to build. You can do a full brown loadout, very good value for money, that will actually look good. Old NIP stickers on this, even in stickers more recently look good, so this is definitely an A tier value for money. Next up is the magnesium, which I was gonna say, like, this is the comparison of why the previous one is like A tier and this is A+, but this is $50. This might have to be an S tier M4. The value for money on this is absolutely fantastic, and it's such a nice base for craft. You have so many options. I know cheaper isn't always better, but that just M4 just looks good as well. I'm gonna put it A+ for now, and we'll review at the end if it goes S tier. The turbine is another one for me that is in this sort of magnesium conversation of it could potentially be S tier, because this is $2.35 for minimum wear. Now, I think why I'm gonna put it A+ is, here you go. When you shoot it, it lights up. This is the first skin in Counter-Strike to do this, which is incredibly cool. They're taking, like, the artists have taken advantage of the new technology in the game, and they've made it super cool. However, this was available in, I think, like 6 different colors on the workshop, and I think Valve picked the wrong color. In a different colorway, this would be, like, it would fit more inventories better, it'd be a bit more unique. And I think with it not being the right color, that is what stops it being S tier. But I love this cool, like, application of the new technology. Please keep that up, artists. It's fantastic. So I think it's going to go A+ with the magnesium. The global offensive is going to find itself in the same territory as the Dark Blossom. I think if you have a very unique niche loadout where this can be built into it with the right crafts or whatever, it's cool. Go for it. But at $25 for it, and you have to go factory new because it starts to get a little bit too scuffed in areas, it's a really hard sell. So I do think it's also in this C tier, but B tier is looking empty right now. Then we have an M4A4 that I actually really like. It's the Coalition, and I feel like we don't see this enough. Now, it's field tested, $21. It is from the Train Collection that came out a few years ago, but with this full rework and change for CS2, are we going to see a new Train Collection come out, and then this will just rise in price? I don't know, but it's got fantastic gold. This is field test that you're looking at for $21. And it's got this sort of blue, almost like purple in this light, and accent on it. So I think artwork-wise and detailing for $21, this is pretty sick. But it's field test, so there's some scuffs. Honestly, I look at it and I do think, like, you look at that and the cybersecurity, it's ahead of the cybersecurity. Is it worthy of A tier? Like, don't get me wrong, visually, it should be up here. But value for money, it's going to sit in B for now. Like, for the longest time, the Spider Lily was just touted as, like, this fantastic value for money skin. And it is. It's $5.50 minimum wear. I think you got this nice blue basing with an interesting red finish. I think the artwork finish itself is kind of whatever. I know it is a Spider Lily. It's based on that. But it's not really overly eye-catching. You'd probably want to craft over it with a red that matches. I like that you get this kind of grayish white, like, grip on it. And it's an interesting one. I don't think it's going to be worthy of an S tier, though. What I'm actually considering is the A+. I personally prefer the turbine, which is half the cost. I prefer the magnesium, which is a tenth of the cost. It might be an A tier. Alright, prepare yourself. I think we have the first F tier. Desert Storm, minimum wear, $27 for it. Even if you're a brown loadout enjoyer, there's so many better options that we'll get to. This is just, you could not sell this, like, at all. I don't know what this is. I did want to have it in D tier, but just seeing it, I think it has to be F. The likes of the in-living color is definitely where there's going to be heavy personal preference. I personally quite like this skin. I like the mad mixed colorway. It's a lot of colors I enjoy, which is part of that reason. And I like that minimal wear it's under $9, and even in Battle Scarred for like under $2, this skin looks incredibly good. So it's really high up there for value for money, in my opinion. When I look at it, artwork-wise, I don't think it's quite on the level of the Dragon King, but I think it's definitely ahead of Spider Lily. So I would say this is another A+ value. I think, anyway. Then we have the only souvenir skin in the video today. It's going to be the Red DD-Pat souvenir minimal wear, which is just over $8. This is another one that I'm going to deem a hard sell. I know I said I like the Urban DD-Pat with the white, but it's 25 cents. This is considerably more. The red does look good on the magazine end. The red does look good in the barrel. The middle of the skin is very lackluster. Honestly, I think it's going to be the C tier. I think it's better than the converter, but maybe not much. You know what? I'm going to put it D tier for now. And then we have the only other real green M4A4. It's a Jungle Tiger, which is just over $4 field tested. It wears, it's not great, but if you want a green one, you put green stickers on it and kind of make it work. I guess that's the only option you have. With that in mind, I think it's right at the bottom of C tier. If you have a purple loadout, you'll basically have the argument and sort of, you'll pick one between the Desolate Space and the Dragon King. For me, I prefer the Dragon King, which means there's going to be a little bit of bias here. Now, obviously, the Chinese version of the game, this looks different because they're not allowed to show the skull. But overall, it's a really nice base purple, and it's a nice amount of blue through it. And the astronaut with the skull is very interesting. And you also don't see it often in-game, so it's that little bit more unique. And it's only $7. I feel like, because I've got in-living color in A+, I feel like there's an argument for it, but I'm going to put my personal preference into A tier here. Whether or not you are a Neo Noir appreciator, I gotta say, the M4A4 Neo Noir is just over $10 in minimal wear. It looks incredibly clean. It's probably, alongside the UMP, my favorite Neo Noir artwork. I think all the colors come together so nicely. The white base is where you want it. The really strong, vibrant pink is where you want it. And then there's blue and purple accents all around it. It's a tremendous value for money skin. I would say, regardless of what you think about a Neo Noir, you would appreciate that it has to be A+ tier. I think it's S tier value along with the Dragon King. Honestly, I cannot even remember what this fucking skin is here. Turns out it's the Faded Zebra. I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's almost $5 and it's minimal wear and it looks like a piece of shit. And you know what? It's going in F tier. Then we have, arguably, the nicest M4A4 in the game. It's the Emperor. Now for this one, I have picked field test it, and it looks incredibly good in field test it, and it's under $10. It's a fantastic shade of blue. The gold accents absolutely pop. You can put like a gold, yellow craft on this. It's going to be fantastic. The main thing is it gets magazine wear. It gets a little bit at the back there, but you don't really see it when you use it in game. This is an absolutely tremendous value for money. And I think it's taking top spot. I think just the Emperor field test at that quality, unbelievably good. The Griffin for $1.90. This one had copyright issues. Valve had to change it up a little bit. And now it's just, I'm going to call it lackluster. Obviously, it's nice and cheap at $2, but when you use it in game, it's kind of just a goofy Griffin with not too much going on. I really hope this sort of skin is faded out as we hit CS2. For me, I'm going to put it in the C tier. Like, I would say, yeah, I think C tier in right here is probably what makes the most sense. Like this kind of layout and format. This next one is a little bit painful to sort of shit on, but it's going to be the Poseidon. In factory new, it is just over $1,000. People say the Dragon King artwork hasn't aged well. I gotta say, the Poseidon really hasn't aged well, and it picks up a tremendous amount of wear, even in minimal wear, which means, unfortunately, this is absolute F tier value for money. Like, if you wanted a blue base M4A4 skin, the Emperor visually looks better. I love the lore, I love the stories around Poseidon. It just doesn't come together here for the price. And as I noted, it hasn't aged well. I'm still going to claim it better value than the money from those two, though. Evil Daimyo. This is what I was saying when there's better budget red M4A4s. This is under $2, minimal wear. It is crying out to have 4 stickers put on it because it looks so similar. But it's a really nice shade of red. I like this sort of off greyish colour that's on it too. It comes together really nicely, but it's nothing crazy visually. And it being nothing crazy visually is why I think it's nicely in A tier. And yeah, B tier really is just falling behind here. Now, I will say, earlier I made a mistake. I moved the Desert Strike when I was meant to move the Polymag. I got them mixed up looking at a guns. This is the Desert Strike 375. Credit to you if you've called me out in the comments already, but I have fixed my mistake. So Desert Strike, almost $4 minimal wear, really lacks value for money. Don't worry, that is going to be getting moved. So when I was talking about the Desert Strike, I thought I was talking about the Polymag, because I goofed a little bit. So the Polymag should be A tier. The Desert Strike for $4 is joining this lovely mix of C tier that exists. And damn, like, where is our B tier options? Another one that I'm not going to spend too much time on. Minimal Zerka, basically $24. It's dreadful. I'm actually building up F tier quite a lot here. I think we might finally have another one for the B tier. It's going to be the Temikau, one of the newer M4A4s we've had in the game through this year. It's almost $40 for the minimal wear. You could save some money going field test it, but it just starts to pick up too much wear in my opinion. I do think the pink, white, and blue is really cool. If you run this with Neo Noirs, you're running some Vice gloves, you've got a P2 pink gem Doppler, that whole loadout vibe can come together really nicely, but for $40, there's definitely better options out there for value for money. So I think, rightly so, in this sort of B tier category. Can do a good loadout with it, but a little bit pricey. Then we have the Royal Paladin in minimal wear, which is just under that $15 mark. I'm going to say this is another B tier category. I think it actually does look really good. If you get a map with good lighting, the gold can pop a little bit, but then when you use it like this, you can see it looks a little bit dull. So I really like the style of it and the vibe that it's going for, and I also like that it's this sort of like off-white coloring on the barrel. It's missing a little bit something. So I'd say it deserves to be in this B tier. Then we have the iconic M4A4 Hoyle. In minimal wear, this will run you $4,300. The most expensive M4 in the game. And with that in mind, if you've watched any of my other tier lists, you'll know where this is going. You've seen where the Poseidons went, and it's a quarter of the price. This is F tier value for money. Sorry, not sorry, because it's a legendary skin, I'll put it at the top of F tier. We'll show some respect. We've got another skin that can go and join the Temikau and the Royal Paladin. It's the Hellfire. This is also $39. This is minimal wear at the exact same price as the Temikau, and it's the same sort of narrative for it. It's definitely a good artwork. The devil on it is kind of 50-50 for some people. But if you're building this sort of red and black loadout, maybe you've got some orange hints in there as well. This is definitely really good. But for the $40, I think like visually for the artwork, I would say like Neo Noir, Dragon King, Emperor for like a quarter of the price all sit ahead of it. So I think it's fair to say it's like B tier value for money. Especially when you compare it against the likes of the Desolate Space. I do feel like the Toothberry is a little bit slept on sometimes. It's a $4 skin in minimal wear. It is a little bit creepy for some people, I know that. I think the main issue it has is that its color palette is so unique that whenever you are building loadouts, and we often like to do themed loadouts, it's really hard to get it in. So if you don't have a theme, this is a nice budget option, but I can appreciate that it just kind of, it sits in a really odd sort of category when you're trying to theme it into a loadout build. And like, in reflection, I think this is also like a B tier value for money. It's cool artwork, but there's nothing crazy, and in the grand scheme of loadout building, it's a little tough. And I am a little bit of an Eye of Horus hater. I was a bit disappointed when this skin dropped. I feel like it missed the mark with it being this kind of like off-white color. It's a little bit dirty. Now, this is a field test one, but that sort of continues in general. The amount of artwork on it is actually kind of crazy. It looks kind of cool, but I think the color is just way, way off. And when it's $175 for field tested and souvenir is more expensive, tough sell. I personally think it's better than the Daybreak. It's cheaper and it's visually better, but it's definitely in this like C tier value for money. If it continues to drop a bit further, that would be cool. For $4.60, we have the Battlestar, which is this really weird mix of like this dark green base with yellowy gold accents. It is under $5, which is cool, but I don't see any reason that anyone would want to buy this. It's not very visually nice at all. With that, it's really tough to put it in D tier, but I think it's deserving. Like, there's no want for it, right? I'm a little bit concerned that it's going to end up with the Modern Hunter in there, which is an M4 that started to grow on me, but in the grand scheme of conversation, this is $75 for minimal wear. I think it's a really cool skin because it's pattern based and you can get those gold accents there, and that's kind of why it's growing on me. But you can see how much wear this gets, and it's float capped at factory new, so like the lowest you get is 0.06, which means factory new is a crazy price, and even then it still visually has issues, and that's what kills this. This has potential of B tier, maybe A tier, but there's some drawbacks. So when I compare like $75 for this versus everything in this C tier, I think it has to be D tier, unfortunately. I feel like the mainframe is going to get some pity points because it's 4 cent in minimal wear. Personally, I really don't like this skin. I know it's black and silver. It's like maybe a cheaper version of the magnesium, which is already cheap already. But it's basically getting pity points because it is the cheapest option. I'll respect it enough to put it in C tier, but I'm putting it in the bottom. And we only have like 7 skins left. This one, we have the Buzzkill. One of the least sought after coverts you'll ever want to pull. It's definitely interesting. I think it fills this color patch of like this orangey yellow that you kind of need. In the field test, it's under $7. There's just nothing really to write home about it. It just, again, it seems like it's lacking something, and I don't know what it is. Overall, though, like as I say, it's filling that niche for like this full sort of orangey yellow. For $7, I think it's fair to put it B tier. Straight off the bat, the Bullet Rain has a problem with float and how it wears. We can't get around that. It's got an issue. It is, however, a very unique color palette because it's cyan and red. And we covered before, like if you have spearmints as your gloves, this actually works really nicely. It's $14 minimal wear. With that and how it scuffs, it can't go too high. But I definitely think it's a unique color palette. You can actually build full loadouts that meet that color palette. And you don't see it too often. And it's an older skin. There's some weight in that. This is where I don't think it's C tier. I think for $15, you're getting more than you get in anything here. B tier is probably fair. Now, when we said about getting cheaper brown skins, here we have the Edgelord under $1 for field test, even after Battle Scarred. One of the newer skins in the game. It also has a polymag. It's got the snake etching on it, which looks really cool. And it's like, kill the snake, or the snake will kill you. And it goes all the way through it. The more Battle Scarred it goes, the more brown it gets. This is a fantastic skin for under $1, in my opinion. I don't think it's S tier. I would have a consideration for A+. I'm going to put it in A and do the final review. And here we have what I would think in the future will possibly be a S tier contender. It's the Poly Soup. Now, this one does have a unique colorway. The purple's a little bit different, and I will say the accent colors in the magazine being like, not even olive. It's closer to brown than olive, but very interesting. But it has pearlescent effect on the crystals that you can see, which is kind of cool. And I know some people didn't like the Poly Soup text. Over time, it's grown on me. This is field tested, $7.50. as people work through the armory pass a bit more, it's going to get a bit more appreciation, and the price is going to come down, I would imagine. In its current form, I would say I like it more than the Desolate Space. I think it's more unique, and it's on the same sort of pricing. So for that, I'm going to put A+ tier. As I say, I think in the future, possibly S tier. Another hard sell for me is the M4A4 X-Ray. I don't think it's as good as the P250. It's better than the AK though, and the AK is a stupid price. So, like $11 for it. If you're a lower value blue loadout, maybe you consider it, but you could also get a field test Emperor for less. I don't really know where it would sit option-wise, and that's kind of the problem with it. Are we saying it's C tier? $10? I think so. Right, if you watched it this far, you're going to have to deal with a bit of a hear me out option, because this is the M4A4 Asimov, and it's battle scarred and $60. I think Asimovs look good in wear, though. That might be a personal preference. I think they do. You could also go and look. This is a 0.65. You could get a lower float battle scarred one for not too much overpay, or maybe just for the exact same price if you looked around. This has fantastic craft potential. The Asimov is an iconic skin in the game. This is the kind of thing where if this was like $500 because it's an older skin and it's following the pattern of like a Poseidon or a Hoyle, it'd be F tier. But $60 for it, great craft potential. There's a lot you can do, great for those loadouts. I have to show a little bit of respect. And again, when I look at what's in C tier, I do think this is definitely better value for money, so I'm going to put it in this sort of B tier category, but at the end of it. And finally, we end it off with the Radiation Hazard, which in field test is $23. And for me, straight away, I see very low value for money in this. If you're someone that likes that like nuclear symbol and that sort of vibe, maybe this is right up your street. But I think across the board, you look at the other 41 skins we discussed, this doesn't deserve to be anywhere high up that list. With that in mind, I'm going to drop it just into the middle of D tier, sorry. And this is what we're currently looking at. And you know what? Overall, I'm kind of happy with how this came out. That is going to be it. It's going to be looking at the screen and waffling now. But if you want to do some changes or what some considerations, I think personal preference, there's a conversation for both the Edgelord and the Desolate Space to go into A+. Some people might want to drop the in-living color down to A. That's where personal preference also comes in. And I think the Magnesium and the Turbine, maybe you guys think they should be going into S tier. I know it's a little bit of a shame to have the Hoyle and the Poseidon at, down in F tier, but $4,000 and $1,000, the value for money when you look at what's in this S and A+ is very, very tricky. Across the board, though, I think this has come out really good, and I absolutely love doing these value for money loadouts because it helps me figure out like what pickups I actually might want to consider myself. So hopefully it does some of that for you guys as well. I'm going to end it there. I want to say a big thank you to the YouTube members that continue to support the channel. It is greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to enter that giveaway and make sure you're in the Discord so you can claim your prize. Make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.